Put your pinky finger to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. So bad. Look out! Pop is showtime. Guess who's back again? Y'all bet they know as soon as we walk in. I'm wearing Jubilee, design on me, Inglewood shiny shoes. Don't look too hard, might hurt yourself. Know that you can color red, the blue. Shit. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up. Keep up. Are you mad? Fix your face. They won't say open check. Keep up. Players only. Come on. Put your pinky finger to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. So bad. Look out. Second best for the hustlers, gangsters, bad bitches and your ugly ass friends. I cannot preach. I gotta show them how I can get it in. First, take your sip, do your business, spend your money like money ain't shit. Ooh, we too fresh, just to blame it on Jesus. Hashtag blessed, they ain't ready for me. I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Keep up. So many pretty girls around me and they're waking up. Keep up. Are you mad? Fix your face. They won't say open check. Keep up. Players only. Come on. Put your pinky finger to the moon. What y'all trying to do? 24 karat magic in the air. So bad. Look out. Everywhere I go, they be like, oh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, oh, so bad. Everywhere I go, they be like, oh, so bad. Now, let me break it down like, what's that sound? Come on now. Don't fight the feeling, invite the feeling, just put your finger to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? I know what they're trying to do. It's all karat magic in the air. So bad. Put your finger to the moon. What y'all trying to do? Magic in the
All right, it's your boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, and you are on Uheardme1st radio talk show. That's right, we are on iHeartRadio, Spotify.com, as well as Google Podcasts, and yes, we always will be on demand and definitely on YouTube. Yes, we have a great episode coming up, and 24 Magic by Bruno Mars. But let me bring in my co-host, Mr. Motivator. How you doing, sir?
Hello. How's everybody out there today?
We're doing great. As our DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben. All right. You had to play that song for a reason because of our guest, Uncle Ben. M-O-N-E-Y. Money and magic. Uncle Ben. Okay. We're going to see if we all going to learn something from our guest. And let's begin now. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, he is an author, and we have him on the show. Please welcome the one and only James Goi Jr. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, and it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. I thank you for being a part of this episode and this show here. Let's get down to business. And before we get into the book and allow you to educate us, tell us when you was a young teenager, what was some of the things that you dreamed about?
Well, as a teenager, I guess at some point in my later teens, I started thinking about moving to California from New Jersey. Actually, I started thinking about that earlier. I used to watch a lot of TV shows, and they're based in California. Remember in the 60s, Mannix and Barnaby Jones and things like that.
All right, now, okay.
Yeah, I didn't have any other dreams that I always wanted to have money, but as far as being a this or being a that, no. But where I wanted to be, that was one of my dreams.
Okay, all right. Let's go ahead and get into the book and just tell us about the book, How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. How did you come up with that title and why?
Well, it's quite interesting. The title itself, when I first had the idea to write the book, the present title was the subtitle. And I had another title for the book, but I found out later that more than one or more books had that I was going to call the book Money Magic with the subtitle How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. But I found out there was one or more other books out there called Money Magic. One of them I remember was about magic tricks, with dollar bills and coins or whatever. And so I thought, well, what's my title going to be? And then I just looked at that title and I thought, well, with a subtitle like that, who needs a title? And I just thought it says exactly what the book is, teaches you how to attract money using mind power, and I thought that's it. That'll be my new title.
Wow. Okay. If you can, go right ahead and give us the introduction before Chapter 1. Just start educating us and also our listeners.
Certainly. Well, Chapter 1 of the 20 chapters is on desire. And the first chapter is on the desire for a reason, I like to tell people, because it's the first logical step. Without sufficient desire, we're not really going to do anything else that's in the book. And without sufficient desire, actually, we don't even get out of bed in the morning or scratch our nose if it itches. So desire is where everything starts. And I do quote 160 other books in my book, 160 separate authors. But I'd like to read the quote that I opened Chapter 1 with, and it's by Robert Collier from his book called The Secret of the Ages from 1926. And he wrote, "Desire is the great moving power of the mind, that which excites into action the will and powers of the individual. It is at the bottom of action, emotion, or expression." End quote. So that kind of hints at the great power of desire. And we can increase our desire, and that's what we want to do. If we want to have a lot more money, we need to increase our desire for money so that we actually start doing things that will help us get more money. And one of those things, well, the key thing, I think, is studying metaphysics, mind power / manifesting type teachings like I teach. Because that's going to show you the metaphysical, spiritual side of it. Because a lot of people think it's the law of the jungle and who you know and your education and business cycles and the market and all, but it's really a lot more than that. It has to do with attitude and mind power. And so, but this is ground zero right here, is building our desire for more money so that then we'll actually do what we need to do to get that money. And part of what we need to do is to study how our minds work so we can use our minds properly.
Wow. Hold on. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Don't no one go away too far. Stay right there. We'll be right back. You heard me? This is the boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas. Are you looking for a car? Do you have bad credit? Don't you worry about a thing. All you need is $500 and your job is your credit. That's right. Just log on AutoCityCredit.com. AutoCityCredit.com. And by the way, when you get there, tell them that your boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, on You Heard Me First, told you all about it. Now, go get your car. You heard me? All right, we're back. We are back. We are back with a special guest. The author, James Goi Jr., is educating all of us on money, mind, power. And now we are going to get into the deeper of allowing our mind to go right along on the spiritual side. Go ahead, Mr. Motivator.
James, I am very excited to have you with us today, and I think you can help a lot of people. And one thing I think some people may be saying, and I would like you to address this, James, what do you say to someone or to people who hate their jobs and feel that the small paychecks won't allow them to keep up with the cost of living and to survive in life?
Right. Well, that's a good question. And, you know, part of the understanding in metaphysics of how we create and attract things to us is basically that we could attract more of what we have, and we attract what we think about and dwell on. So I would always advise people in that situation to dwell on the positive, because that's what you want to increase. That's what you want your subconscious mind to oscillate with. And so instead of the fact that you don't like your job, feeling bad about it, how about we feel good about the fact that we have a job? Because a lot of people don't have a job. Instead of thinking, well, gosh, I have such a small paycheck, how about, well, some people don't have any paycheck. You know, I actually have a job. I actually have a car and a house or apartment to go to. I have food in the refrigerator. And so I'm very, fortunate. And the fact that they can barely make ends meet or even aren't, maybe they're going in credit card debt, well, how many people that you see living under bridges and stuff would just love to have a car, a house, a job, and a credit card to begin with? The fact that you have access to money you haven't even earned yet is a blessing. So to start to look at all of the positive and look at it in a positive way, but then also to understand that you have thought your way into that exact position. You have created your job and your finances through your thinking and your actions, and you can create more of the same. You can create a better job and more money. But, you know, they say it's a lot easier to get a job, find a new job when you have a job. And the same thing can be said. It's a lot easier to get money when you already have some money. So a person in the position you're describing, they're at a very good place. They have the basics of life, a house, a car maybe, and a job and money. And now they want to increase what they already have. It's not like someone who doesn't have a job and then they're trying to get a job, and the longer they go, the less hireable they become. So a person in the situation you've outlined is actually in a pretty good space, and they're at a perfect launching site because they have enough, but they don't have enough to be satisfied, and so now they have a place to grow from. But they have a desk at home or a kitchen table where they can have their papers dry, and they can make phone calls, and they can use the internet. They have everything they need, and that's what they should be grateful for, and then work with that.
Thank you, James. That's a great answer. I have a lot of friends, James, that are single. I'm married. I have a wonderful wife and a family. But I have some single friends, and they often talk to me, and they tell me that it's difficult in the dating scene. They feel that a lot of women now that they meet are very materialistic, and they use the word gold diggers. So what can you say to these single men who want to meet someone that they'll enjoy and be comfortable with, but they're kind of afraid to really get out there because they think the gold diggers are after them?
Well, that's a very good question. Here's the thing. There are women out there that are gold diggers. There's men that are gold diggers. So it's not really, but there definitely are women out there that are gold diggers. And they might be around certain, nightlife scenarios, clubs or whatever they call them nowadays and things like that. So I would advise people, if you don't want to be taken advantage of, then if you identify someone as a gold digger, then you just don't want to have anything to do with them. But know that there are people out there that aren't like that have good values like you do, that are more interested in, having a home to live in and survive in than they are having a home that they can show off, to their friends and pump their egos up or whatever. Or they're more interested in finding someone that really cares about them and appreciates them and can be an aid to them in their life than they are finding someone that they can extract the maximum amount of money out of and being with that person because they have the money. You want to find people that share your moral compass and attitudes. And one way to do that is just live your life. You're at the grocery store, you're at the laundromat, you're at work, you're at church, whatever it is that you do, and just look for those kind of people. But there's the other type of people are not really hard to spot, I think, if you have a little bit of insight. And so just avoid them, no matter how good they look and smell. If they're gold diggers, they're just going to use you for what they can get, and then they're going to move on if you become not a good source of supply anymore. But never give up, because there's somebody there. If that's what you're looking for, then you use the metaphysical techniques, that I teach for attracting money. Well, they can be used for everything. You can do affirmations and visualization and, thinking as if, think about the type of person you'd like to meet, feel positive about it, and just move forward. But don't have any desperation, because that's when you pick the wrong people or you push the right people away.
Wow. Thank you, James. Another great answer.
Okay. What advice do you have for hardworking people who had a great career, beautiful home, raised their kids, now they're planning for retirement, and now these days a lot of family, husband and wife, man and woman, put themselves in a position where they have to downsize out of their home into a smaller home like an apartment or a condo. What advice do you have for our listeners to hold on to their retirement investment and not try to lose anything what they work hard for?
Right. Well, I think that people, there's different, seasons in life. And so when we get to that where we're at retirement age and past, and we're not in our prime earning years, then and a lot of people end up having to downsize. Maybe they didn't need what they had all along. Like, in other words, if they would have said, well, I don't really need these extra 2 bedrooms we don't use. Why don't we have a smaller house all along? And then they wouldn't have to downsize. So a lot of times people live, but really they live beyond their means. They live just a little bit ahead of what they're actually earning and can justify. But expectations change. Anyone can attract more money. They have the right mindset and move in that direction. Some people are more trying to just be comfortable now. They're older. Maybe their health isn't that great. And I would say just get back to basics. If you need to downsize, it might be a huge blessing, because there's a lot to be said for simplicity. A lot of people have a lot of stuff and a lot more room than they actually need. There's nothing wrong with having that if they can use their minds to attract the money to have it. But there's also nothing wrong with going back to simplicity, basics, bare bones, comfort. There's a real freeing in that. And so, and it's a blessing for people later if they don't have to go to work, especially if they were doing jobs that they didn't like, particularly that they wouldn't go to if they weren't being paid. And just look for the good in everything, but know that you can create anything you want. But some people just aren't going to, they're going to try to settle in a comfort zone, and that's okay. As far as I'm concerned, if anybody's got a place and they can maintain it, and they're not in danger of being on the street, and they kind of like where they are and they're comfortable, so many people don't have even that. And so they should be grateful for what they have. And then also in gratitude, sometimes it helps us to attract more of what we're grateful for. So great things can happen. But I always tell people, I mean, for myself, yes, I'm into prosperity and abundance, but I'm also into, frugality and simplicity at the same time, and I think it's a great combination.
Yes.
Good. Give us another chapter in your book that you may think would be very helpful, but a lot of us may not be aware of what we need to do.
Right. Well, in Chapter 4 is an interesting chapter. It's on the money mindset. And I open that with a quote from Napoleon Hill from Think and Grow Rich, 1937. And he wrote, "Fortunes gravitate to men whose minds have been prepared to attract them just as surely as water gravitates to the ocean," end quote. And the money mindset, as I've identified it or defined it, is basically all of our thoughts and feelings having anything to do with money. And it's not just our money. So our money, the government's money, taxes, corporations, your neighbor, how they make or spend their money. We want to have positive feelings and emotions. We want to think positively about money, no matter whose it is, because we want all of our thoughts and feelings having anything to do with money to be positive if possible, neutral if they can't be positive, but try to avoid having negative thoughts and feelings about money or money situations at all, because it sets up a discordant atmosphere or aura and energy that can actually repel money. So understand that every time you have thoughts, every time you have feelings having to do with money, you're either associating money in a positive way in your subconscious mind and the message that your subconscious is getting, or you're doing it in a negative way. And by the same token, if you're thinking about, the rent coming up, and you don't quite have the money, don't be negative and fearful that you might not be able to pay it. Be grateful and happy and positive and expectant that you've always paid it before, and this time will be no different. So you're still thinking about paying the rent, but in one way you're thinking negatively, in one thing you're thinking positively. But so it's a basic concept that our money mindset really dictates how much money we do or don't get. And a beginning of that is we want all of our thoughts and feelings having anything to do with money in any way, shape, or form to be positive, if at all possible.
Wow. On this show here, I asked all my guests the trial and tribulation they have may gone through in the career or dreams. Could you tell us one of the most powerful trial and tribulation that you may have gone through to keep you strong and made you become a better person that you are today?
Right. Well, there is a defining moment really in my life and also in my career as an author. And that was about 10 years ago or so. It was maybe 12 years ago by now. It was 2006. It was about a year before I published How to Attract Money Using Mind Power for the first time. It was published in the end of 2007. And so this was about a year before that. Now, I had moved around to a lot of states. I'd already been working on the book for about 8 years, on and off. And so I had to learn how to write. I had to learn how to type. I studied hundreds of other books and collected up hundreds of quotes that I used 160 of those in the book. And our household at this time was actually $50,000 in credit card debt. And we were getting close to losing our cards because our limits were because we were borrowing from the cards every month to make up for what little bit I wasn't earning. I was a caregiver to a developmentally disabled senior man in his home. And so I was making very little money, so every month we were borrowing to live on what I couldn't earn, and I was the only person working, and also borrowing to pay the cards because we had to pay all these payments now every month. And so we were going to lose our cards soon. And I made this life-changing decision. And when I made it, I went into silence for the first 10 days. I never said another word for 10 days after I made that decision. But what I did was I quit my job. And I decided to focus my life and attention and to follow one of the metaphysical techniques I teach in the book, which is act as if. Whatever it is you're trying to do or want to have, act as if you have it. Well, I wanted to be a self-help author. And I thought, well, a self-help author stays home and write. So if I'm going to act as if, I have to stay home and write. And so I quit my job, $50,000 in credit card debt, and ready to lose our cards. And
wow.
I focused all of my time and energy not only on working on the book, but on doing everything in there, doing my affirmations, visualizations, writing things down, thinking as if, thinking end results, speaking as if. Everything that's in the book, I was doing it. And within 3 months, now the book didn't get published for a whole nother year, but within 3 months of doing that, I attracted 2 six-figure windfalls into the house through a legal matter that had been floundering in the system for years and that was getting ready to fall out of the system. The other side completely changed their whole stance, and they started agreeing and cooperating where they hadn't before and really didn't have to. Everything changed when I changed. And that was really the defining moment of my life. So we attracted 2 six-figure windfalls into the house. And at that time, when I first quit my job, I told my life partner, Kathy, and her sister, who lives with us, Linda, I said, I am making a decision right now, and I'm making it for all 3 of us. And here it is. None of us will ever have to work outside of the home again, a regular job, for the rest of our lives. Now, I didn't know how I was going to do that, but I made that decision. Now, is it going to fulfill itself? Well, let's hope so, but here we are 11 years later from going $50,000 in credit card debt and making a statement like that, and we are, self-sustaining, you could say, or the universe provides for us, and we haven't had to go back to work. So I really learned a great lesson. That is that mind power definitely works, which I already knew. I had attracted a lot of money in prior years too, but that money had come and gone. But that if we do the thing we're supposed to do, which in this case was right livelihood, that's another chapter in the book. But if we step out, if we make a demand or command on the universe, and if we go all in, I'm not telling anybody else to quit their jobs. If it's right for you, you'll know. But at that moment when I made that decision, I absolutely knew it was the right thing, and I followed my instinct, and everything worked out better than I could have even imagined, and all of this money came in a way that I didn't think was going to, and the experts didn't think was going to happen, and it was already years into the situation. When I changed, everything else changed, and our lives changed. And here I am. I've published 10 books now. And I'm 11 years later or something, and my first book has been published in 4 foreign countries around the world, and other countries also in those languages. And I'm just completely moving forward. I got a few other books in the works now, but it was all mental. It was mental first, and then the reality, and that's the great lesson, I think.
Wow, bless you. Mr. Motivator, you got one more question?
Yep, James, I commend you. I think your books are awesome, and it's a delight to have someone so incredible like you to be on our show with us. But one of the things I came across in your book, you made a statement. You said you made a statement, and it said thoughts are things. Could you elaborate on that for everyone to get an idea of what you mean by thoughts are things? I think that would be helpful.
Certainly. Well, we're getting into a very deep metaphysical, spiritual concept, even quantum physics kind of a concept. But it's this, that everything that we see here, first of all, in modern science now, we know that there's actually nothing physical. And what I mean by that, in the old days, they used to think there was little solid particles inside the molecules and atoms or whatever. Well, Today we know if you look deep enough with a powerful enough microscope, you're not going to find anything solid. Everything is actually energy. That's all there is. Nothing is solid. And what the concept is here is that everything that we create, we don't actually create it here in the physical world. We create it in a mental realm. In thought and feeling and energy and consciousness. See, anything, like look around you right now, anything you see, the pen on your desk, your computer screen, the house, the chair you're sitting in, everything was a thought first. Somebody actually created it in thought, and then it came to be here. Now, a lot of times we have to use our hands and do things, but also the thing was actually real. See, this is a reflection world, and different spiritual traditions call it, say that there's the world of illusion, and then there's the world where things come from. And so thoughts literally are things. Now, here's the thing. If you think about this, we have the thought of the chair, let's say, and then we make the chair. So now that we see the chair and it's solid. But the chair is not what's real. It's the thought of the chair. And here's how I can prove that, really, is that the thought of the chair, the image of the chair, completely, formed before it was here, existed without and before the chair itself. But the opposite can never be said. The thing can never exist without that spiritual, mental consciousness counterpart. And this chair that we see here sprang forth from and is actually a reflection of the real chair behind it, which is the energy chair, the chair in consciousness. And that's why I say thoughts are things, not thoughts create things or thoughts will eventually be things. Thoughts already are things in the real place where things are created. Here we just see the reflections of those things, but it's a very deep spiritual concept, but I want people to try to wrap their minds around it, is that the things we're seeing in our life, in this table right here that I can knock on, they are not as real as the energy that is projecting them, which is consciousness and thought. That's what created them, and that is what is actually the foundation of them and holds them together.
Awesome.
Great. On this show here, James, I have this game that I play with all of my guests, and the name of this game is Don't Think About It, Just Say It. I'm just going to ask you 3 simple questions, and one of them is going to make you laugh. Just remember, the name of this game is Don't Think About It, Just Say It. All right, here we go. New York or California?
California.
Okay. Hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburgers.
Hypothetical thinking. On your next birthday, which one of these ladies you rather give you a full body massage? Would it be Kim Kardashian or Madonna?
Madonna.
That's all right, John.
I love Madonna.
That's all right, man. That's all right. All right. Well,
I'll be happy just to give her a full body massage.
Oh. Okay, John.
I got to send her a message on Twitter now and let her know.
All right. Wow. Oh, that's good. You made us laugh. I like that. Okay, before we let you go, tell everyone what you got coming up. Tell everyone how you can be contacted. The mic is yours. Go ahead and start promoting yourself.
Certainly. Well, I'm not doing anything, pretty much just writing at this time. I do offer some coaching. People can tap into that on my website. I have a few little books in the works that I'm trying to get back to. Haven't been in them for a while. But I'd like to tell people, my website, of course, is jamesgoijr.com. That's jamesgoijr.com. And I have a free monthly Mind, Power, and Money e-zine. And I have been publishing that for about 11 years now, I guess. And it's a great resource, free resource that you get in your inbox on the first of every month. And when people sign up for that, they get a free PDF copy of my book, Attract Money Forever, which is a companion book to how to attract money using mind power. But it's actually a longer book. It covers all the same subjects, but only in a more conversational, leisurely tone. So just go to jamesgoijr.com, sign up for my free monthly Mind, Power, and Money e-zine, and then they get a free PDF copy of Attract Money Forever. And also, if they want to hear, they can check out my radio page on my website, because I have other archive recordings of interviews I've done and things like that. All the social buttons are there if anybody wants to connect with me on social media.
All right. James, keep this in mind. This is your new home. You heard me first radio talk show. Anytime that you need to get the word out, anything you got coming up across my social media, you and I are friends on Facebook and as well as Instagram. I am on LinkedIn. You don't need my permission. You're more than welcome to share and post. That's what we do. That's what I do. I am the promoter of the Blessing business. So this is your new home.
Great.
And James,
I really appreciate that.
And James, I want you to know you have motivated and inspired Mr. Motivator today, and thank you for giving back. Thank you for coming on our show and being a blessing to a lot of people today.
Well, thank you. It's been a blessing for me to be on. You guys are great.
Thank you. And one more thing. If you're a football fan, I know you're pulling for the Los Angeles Rams over New England Patriots. I know you are for the Super Bowl.
Well, I have to be honest with you. I am such not a football fan or a sports fan that I actually, if it's football season right now, and I haven't had a television for about 6 years almost, if it is football season, I honestly didn't even know it.
Wow.
Now, I know there's probably not a lot of people that, even if they're not fans, they at least know it's the season. I actually did not know that it was football season.
Wow. Well, if the Rams win Sunday and you see a lot of crazy things going on in L.A., that's because they just won the Super Bowl. So I want you to be aware of that, okay?
All right. It's a good thing. I don't know how I would have got by not knowing, but now I'm going to probably go online and I want to see who won now. So the Super Bowl is this Sunday.
This coming Sunday, and like I said, if you see a lot of crazy things going on the next 7 days, it lets you know the Los Angeles Rams have won the Super Bowl.
All right. I'll root for them, even though I'm not a fan, that's so to speak, but it's the closest team. They're closer to me than the other team geographically, so I'll root for them.
Okay. All right. Thank you, James. God bless, and you take care, okay?
All right. Thank you to both of you. I appreciate it, and take care.
You too.
Thanks, James. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you. You too.
All right. Mr. Motivator, you enjoyed that? You learned anything?
Man, I loved it. I just it was just reading his books, man, and writing it, just jotting the information down was just so awesome, man. It seemed like it just took me to a whole another level.
Okay.
Incredible guy.
Great. What we're going to do is let our DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben, take us around the block, and we'll be right back with Mr. Motivator, Motivation Moment, and myself doing Relationship Monday. Don't you guys go away too far. You heard me?
People will steal from their mothers. People will rob their own brothers. People can't even walk the street because they'll never know when the world that's gonna be. Cause that free, almighty people will laugh, they will kill. People don't care who they turn up be. A woman will sell her precious body for more piece of paper. It carries a lot of weight for that free. Oh my God. Talking about know that money you funny things, some people give me a nickel, brother, can you buy money can buy some people. Don't say so money, no. Lay down, women will. Some people really need it. Give me cash money. Keep don't let money fool you. Yeah. Got to have it. I really need it. Don't matter, 'cause I need me. People know that money, don't let money shame you. All right, I keep telling you, people know that money, don't let money shame you. All right, keep on changing up your mind. Keep on changing up your mind. Tell it y'all, keep on rolling money. All right, keep telling y'all, keep on rolling money. Don't let money shame you. keep on.
Hola, this is your boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, and we are back on Uheardme1st Radio Talk Show. That's right, for the OJs, money, money, money. Yes, for the love of money, played by our DJ sidekick, Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben. What made you play that? Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben. To all my ladies out there, Uncle Ben, Uncle Ben. Like y'all always tell the fellas, Uncle Ben, no money, no honey. But I like to say, Uncle Ben, ladies, no honey. Uncle Ben, don't have no money. Uncle Ben. Mr. Motivator, what's wrong with him, man? What's wrong with him? He get all excited.
We got to pray for Uncle Ben.
Yes, we do. But great information, great wisdom from our guest, the author James Goi Jr. How to attract money using mind power. Great. I'm going to definitely get the book. As a matter of fact, to all my guests who are authors, have already been on the show, I have a great surprise for you guys before June 1st. I'm not going to give it out right now, but I have not forgotten you, all my authors who has been on my show. Just wait till June 1st. So before I get into Relationship Monday, what do you think about some of the things that our guests were talking to us about, Mr. Motivator?
Oh man, I think he hit up on a lot of important discussions, and I think they're very powerful because a lot of people are struggling, and we're blaming everybody. We're saying, it's the government, it's the job, it's my color, it's this and that. But I think if we listen close to what our guest was trying to tell us, it all starts with you. It starts with your thoughts. And you can either create good thoughts, which will project positive energy, the kind of energy that you need to attract what you want, or you can take negative thoughts or allow other people to give you negative thoughts and affect yourself to where everything that you hate will be coming your direction. So I was happy for him to elaborate and explain some of those things, because we all are searching for ways to improve our lives, and it starts first with the mind.
And thank you for that, Mr. Motivator, as you speak the mind. Well, on Relationship Monday, you're absolutely right. You and our guest, James Goi Jr., are absolutely right. Everything begins with you. Everything begins with your mind. The boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, is going to bless everyone on Relationship Monday. Well, money. Everybody always thinking about money. How do you think? It begins with you and your mind. As our guest was telling us how to attract money using mind power. Well, for those who have not thought about the mind, the spirit, and the power is in your soul. See, this is why Satan, or the devil, is doing all he can to become a distraction in your mind, because he wants your soul. Well, I don't think a lot of people wake up every day, every morning, and be very thankful with the thoughts that God allowed you to have, use, and also to protect. Because with that spirit, keep in mind, when you are talking to God, they say what's inside of you got to come out. I will hope that you're talking to my Father, that who is in heaven and on earth. I say that because he said he will always be with you. We are never forgotten. But the more time you spend with yourself and your mind and God, there should be some peaceful information or vision when it comes to money. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I know everybody thinks different. I believe everybody believes in themselves that they can do anything if they put their mind to it. Well, every morning before I do anything, the moment I open my eyes, the first thing I ask God, thank you for giving me a mind to think, breath to breathe, strength in my eyes to see, a voice to speak, sounds in my ears to hear, and the blood of Jesus. See, Mr. Motivator and also James Goi Jr., they both said it starts with you. And I agree with both of them. See, I said the word, the blood of Jesus 3 times because they are the Trinity. Some people may say me, myself, and I. That's okay. But as Mr. Motivator and our guest said, it begins with you. And God gives you an opportunity to come to him about anything, everything. Then that is an excellent beginning because you are thinking positive. Now, when you walk outside that door, when you go to work, when you're driving in your car, please keep your mind power on thinking positive. Of course, something or someone going to try to become a distraction. It only takes a second, maybe up to 5 minutes, to think about, get your mind set back to thinking positive where you started when you first woke up. See, if you spend time with yourself and God to manage your daily thought, your daily agenda, then you will be pretty good, and I think you will do very well to accomplish your goal, to get to your destiny. Just remember how to attract money using mind power, as our author was telling us. And of course, Mr. Motivator has shared his thoughts by being positive and begin with you. All I'm trying to say is, this is your boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, on Relationship Monday. All right, Mr. Motivator, talk to me, man.
Hey, man, that was deep. I like what you said, man, and you gave everybody some good ideas about how to achieve their goals by simply understanding the use of mind power. Very, very good very good observation. I like what you said, and I hope the audience takes this to heart, because what you said is actually powerful, and it can really help them achieve more in life.
All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Mr. Motivator and Motivation Moment. Go right ahead, sir.
Hey, hello to everyone that's listening. It's mind over matter. Okay? You think about your mind. What is your mind? Your mind is basically the element of a person that enables them to be aware of the world and their experiences, to think and to feel. So your mind is brain power. It's intelligence. And I thought about the word matter. Okay, what is matter? Matter is a physical substance in general. Okay? And in physics, they tell us that it is that which occupies space. We were very blessed and fortunate to have an amazing guest with us today, James Goi Jr., and he gave us some good concepts. He gave us some good things to think about and to understand the power of our mind and how it can help us. You know, how many of you right now, you may understand, or you know deep down on the inside that you've been hindered by some well-meaning individual in your life with their criticism of you. Someone may have told you at an early age as a child, they said you were too dumb. They said you're ugly. You have no talent. You ain't going to ever amount to nothing. You're too fat. You're too black. You're too goofy or stupid to be successful. These things have devastated us, and the battle is in our mind, because those things that were stated became a thought, and those thoughts sometimes create images. Those thoughts produce imaginations in our minds that become reality for us. And our guest today impressed me because of the information that he gave us. He allowed us to see that it all starts with the mind. And thoughts are things. The chair that you're sitting in, the car that you drive, was a thought before it materialized into a thing. That's very powerful. We got to understand that our mind is the most powerful. It is our brain power. Our mind is basically our intelligence unit. And our intelligence unit will produce for us if we program it the right way. It takes me back into the Bible over in Romans chapter 12 and verse 2. It tells us, do not be conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what it is, that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. And then another statement over in the book of Proverbs says, as where there is no vision, people perish. See, the vision comes from your mind. And then another verse over in Proverbs chapter 18 and verse 12 tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Ladies and gentlemen, it's what you put in your mind. A lot of us get attacked in our minds. I thought about the actor Clint Eastwood. I've always loved his westerns, and I like all of his movies. But I read an article where it talked about that when he applied to one of the big Hollywood film producers, they turned him down because one of the guys said that he was too tall and lanky, and he had a large Adam's apple under his throat, and they turned him down from the job. But they later regretted because they found out that he was one of the most amazing actors to ever get on the screen in Hollywood. It's what you think. It's what you believe. Either you think and allow your imaginations to become positive energy, they can be negative. You know, Uncle Ben probably going to get on me about this, but there was a show back in the day when I was a younger man. It was a song by the Temptations, and it was called "It's Just Your Imagination." And a lot of people didn't understand what they were saying, but it was very powerful. And they were singing, "It was just your imagination running away with you. It is just your imagination running away with you." Your imagination can not only run away, but your imagination can take you to higher heights and take you to higher levels in your life. Or either your imagination can take you to destruction. It can take you to doom. It's all about mind over matter. We got to take our imaginations and use it in a positive way. Your mind is the best thing that you have. And once you put the right type of thoughts in your mind, and then your imaginations began to produce for you, your imagination will become your creative spark. Everything that you will accomplish in life starts with an idea that comes from your imagination. The more you use your imagination, the more you will accomplish. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get down in the rut. Don't feel that you will never get anywhere because of your job, because of the setbacks that you've had. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking specifically to the individual that's very down today. Listen, you can win and win big in life. Dare to dream and keep thinking big. You will discover your purpose in life. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Mr. Motivator. Have a blessed day.
All right, Mr. Motivator. I really appreciate all your motivation moment on every episode, and people really loving it, and keep doing the good work that you're doing. But in the meantime, we're running out of time. We do have at least 5 minutes for announcement, upcoming update. You heard me first, update news very quickly. Your boy, Comedian Edwin Douglas, will be the host of the Community Health Empowerment Network Expo in Palestine, Texas. Plus, I'll be kicking off my new gospel stand-up comedy project, the Comedy Bible. Yes, that's February 11th at Ben E. Keith building in Palestine, Texas. And one other thing that I want to make an announcement on, single people, grown folks, single people, listen to me. I have something for you, for those who are single. And the new social group on Facebook, the Elite Social Lounge. Elite Social Lounge. You can log on their Facebook page. But the announcement that I'm giving is they're having a icebreaker April the 12th through the 13th weekend at Club Vanetti's in Addison, Texas. So go on Facebook group page, join them, and it's the Elite Social Lounge, ESL. You may see 3 letters, and it's very fun for single people, not married people, but single people. Get on it. And that's all I have. What you got, Mr. Motivator?
Hey, because of us having a special guest on our show today, years ago, I had a defining moment, and I realized that I needed to change my attitude, and when I changed my attitude, it changed my life. So I want everyone that's listening today to get a copy of my book. It's called Success is an Attitude by Dwight Jeffrey. You can purchase the book at Amazon.com or Goodreads.com, and you can also Google me. And the other thing I'm working on at the moment, my biggest project is the Joy Bum Comedy Show, and that's joybumcomedy.com or either hashtag joybumcomedy. I'm working with my staff and working with the writers, and we're doing a lot of things to get ready for the show, and we believe it's going to be awesome because laughter is the best medicine. And I will keep you updated, keep everyone posted when we're ready to start shooting, and we can invite you, our audience, or we can invite whoever wants to come to the show when we're doing the taping and maybe get to meet Comedian Edwin Douglas, Uncle Ben in person, some of the other great comedians that we have in line to be guests on our show. That's about it.
Oh, one more other thing. Uncle Ben, and Mr. Motivator, the last 30 days, I'm just going to name the top 10 cities that have been tuning in on Uheardme1st radio talk show and supporting us every episode. Number 1, Ashburn, Virginia. Number 2, Dallas, Texas. 3, DeSoto, Texas. 4, Mountain View, California. 5, listen to this, Johannesburg, South Africa. Yes, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Mesquite, Texas. Highland, California. Fort Worth, Texas. And Vancouver, Canada. Uheardme1st want to thank all of you guys for supporting us. We planning on continuing to do bigger and better things because Uheardme1st radio talk show is the promoter of the blessing business. And Uncle Ben, anything you want to say? Uncle Ben, only thing I want to say is keep up the good work, Mr. Motivator, and also to Comedian Edwin Douglas. Now, until next time, peace and may God bless you.
Ooh, throwing that thing from left, right, side to side. She gotta have her own money. Oh yeah. Shout out to the girls that pay rent on time. If you ain't here to party, take your ass back home. If you getting naughty, baby, here's my phone. Slide with your boy to the bar. Slide with your boy to the car. I've been searching everywhere and now here you are. Ooh, junkie. Looking for them girls with the big old hoops that drop it down and raise it deuce. Yeah, them ones I'm trying to recruit. I'm looking at you, yeah, you, baby. Now let me hear you say you're ready. I'm ready. Oh yeah. Girl, you better have your hair strapped on tight. Cause once we get going, we're rolling. We'll chat till the morning. So just say alright. If you ain't here to party, take your ass back home. If you getting naughty, baby, here's my phone. Slide with your boy to the bar. Slide with your boy to the car. I've been searching everywhere and now here you are. Oh, junkie. Looking for them girls with the big old hoops that drop it down and raise it deuce. Yeah, them the ones I'm trying to recruit. I'm looking at you, yeah, you, baby. You got what I want. Girl, you got what I need. 37, 27, 32. Ooh, squeeze all of my crew. Girl, I choose junkie. The fun girls with the big old hoops that drop it down and crazy deuce. Yeah, them the ones I'm trying. front of the crew. I'm looking at you, yeah, you, baby. It's a fun girl with the big old hoops. Got top down and baby too. Get down, yeah, the boys, I'm front of the crew. I'm looking at you, yeah, you, baby.
All right. Until next time, peace, and may God bless you.